Blizzard has finally realized that they had gone way too far with the crazy cosmological wars, going into the workshop of the first ones and meeting the firster ones before the firsterer ones, and they indirectly confirmed that we will be returning to Azeroth after Shadowlands and that there are storylines building to continue the next great book of the so-called Warcraft saga. What does this actually mean in practical terms? Are we actually getting a reset of Azeroth, a WoW 2 type expansion, or are we going to continue the loose ends of Battle for Azeroth after Shadowlands is over with? 600 plus champions, PvP, PvE, you can try all that both on your phone and PC by using my link or QR code to check out Raid Shadow Legends, this video's sponsor. The game is known for a variety, and that includes bosses, and one of those is the Voidkeep Guardian Malek Kavar, a priest of the light turned to the dark side, awaiting for you to fight him. His main trick is poison, which can nuke everyone. However, with heals and removing debuffs, he can be countered. This is also what I like about Raid, as new content is being added non-stop, so there is always some new challenge, and this month the big update Guardian Ring will be released, giving you a lot of new ways to use your champions and to get legendary ones you might have missed out on. If you wanna start big, check out my link or the QR code on the screen, and all new players will get the epic hero Chonoru, 200k silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard to summon immediately. Rewards will be here for the next 30 days, so see you in game. By this point, you may have probably heard of the famous leak that happened quite recently of the expansion coming after Shadowlands, and that is apparently the so-called World of Warcraft Awakenings, where we return to a brand new world after Shadowlands, which could either hint at a World Soul Awakening, or it could hint at us awakening to a different Azeroth after we are done with this entire Shadowlands ordeal. While almost always these leaks are just complete baiting BS, and honestly, I thought of it as a joke, which is why I didn't cover it at all, but with the recent 9.2 developer preview, I actually think something like this might be incredibly likely. The expansion probably won't be named something stupid like Awakenings, but the premise and the storyline could 100% be related to the word and the meaning of the word awakening. Obviously, with Shadowlands, Blizzard decided to take the cosmological mumbo-jumbo to the absolute extreme, and I really mean extreme. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not completely against this. Realistically, since the start of Warcraft as a series, there have always been crazy cosmological happenings in the background. Even when the game was simple orcs and humans and the Lich King and the Scourge, there were still the Burning Legion and the old gods in the background doing their own thing, but the keyword here is they were in the background. However, seeing that WoW really is nearly a 20-year-old game at this point, they definitely ran out of the lore that they had built for Warcraft 3. Really, Warcraft 3, for a simple RTS, had quite a bit of lore that they managed to utilize for the MMORPG, but this drought began at the end of Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria, and ultimately Legion, when we defeated the ultimate villain of the entire series, which was obviously Sargeras. First, to counter this, they kinda had to reinvent the wheel with the Chronicle books by further explaining the Titans and the Void Lords and providing us with this grand cosmology chart. However, not even that was enough, as now with Shadowlands, they pretty much did the exact same thing, just twice as hard. On this end, they went to the other extreme, and instead of doing stuff with cosmological things in the background, they decided to send us directly into the cosmos, the afterlife, the jailer, and now apparently into Zereth Mortis, the so-called workshop of the first ones. Thus far, the entire thing is still just incredibly confusing, but it does seem like wheels are turning in the background that could 100% wrap up the storyline and transition into the next expansion. If you haven't fully understood Eternity's End, aka 9.2, here is what we kinda know thus far. The first ones are a brand new concept just introduced in the Shadowlands, and they seem to be more important than anyone else. Previously, we believed that Titans were the creators of everything, the literal gods of the Warcraft universe, but with the current lore, it just seems like the Titans were role players, essentially pretending to be the first ones, and they don't really appear to be all that relevant in the grand scheme of things. This entire entire ordeal is completely shrouded in mystery, but it seems like there was some order before the first ones, the way the universe was, so it could literally be the firster ones, but they managed to order everything and create the current way of the world as we know it. As you're aware, we are venturing into Zereth Mortis, which is the forbidden realm of the first ones. It is literally going behind the scenes, like going into the engine of a game or the code behind the program. It seems to be a place that contains all the building blocks, and it is the testing ground for everything created by the first ones, which seems to be pretty much everything we know and we have ever known. They didn't explain this that well in the preview, it was very vague, but Zereth Mortis is intended to create afterlives. It is behind the scenes of the Shadowlands. However, what they further said is that it not only creates afterlives, but it also created everything in Azeroth and the realms we hadn't even discovered, so it isn't just about the Shadowlands. As I already said, Zereth Mortis is literally the workshop of the architects of the universe, filled with all these prototypes and tests they had created. This is exactly why I called Titans just role players, as they did the exact same thing in Un'Goro Crater through the Titan Keepers. Freya, for example, used these testing grounds to create the flora and the fauna of Azeroth. Well, this is the same thing with Zereth Mortis, just for the entire universe as a whole, so on a much larger scale. Of course, we still don't know what the actual sepulchre is, but we know it is located within the realm 100%, and it seems to be at the center of it, because there will be the new raid of 9.2. Now, previously, I speculated that Azeroth is Zereth Mortis, mainly due to the name, which doesn't seem to be the case directly. However, it is not totally disproven. A bit of a wild speculation, but you know how the realm is a workshop and it has all these prototypes of the afterlives and the various beings? Well, what if the sepulchre is actually the prototype of the World Soul of Azeroth, which is exactly why the World Soul is the key? If not a prototype, it could 100% be connected to our World Soul in some way, shape or form. Many things are hinting that the soul is not just a simple titan as we previously believed, and if you remember, at the start of the expansion, the Jailer said that death is coming for the soul of our world, and Azeroth itself empowered us directly in the Maw, obviously being related to the first ones in some way because they used the first one relic. Now, in the dev preview, the newser said that the Jailer's true goal was always reaching the sepulchre, which is exactly why he was imprisoned in the first place, and he intends to rewrite the rules and the code of the universe as a whole. What if ultimately this will bring us back to Azeroth? Just think about it, it makes total sense. It could be just the transition we need for the next expansion to happen. Now, this is a cool backstory and all, and a few speculations, but let's take a look at what they said in regards to the actual next expansion, because they did lay out a few hints for us to work with. First, they confirmed that Shadowlands will be the end of one large part of Warcraft, almost hinting that the Jailer could possibly reset the universe and bring something completely new, or that a big change will be happening. Second, they said that they have a lot of stuff planned after Shadowlands that they can't reveal yet. Then in the interviews after, they talked about scaling us down a bit and getting back to the core of World of Warcraft, that is the simple RPG elements in the original adventures. Now, in the interview after the preview, Blizzard literally talked about the next expansion. They said that currently storylines are building up for the new book in the Warcraft saga. Some of that groundwork is laid here in the Shadowlands, but there is a lot more happening on Azeroth that we need to get back to and to delve into storylines and characters that are already there. Obviously, this confirms that the next expansion will be on Azeroth, but things are kinda contradicting to say the least. On one end, when they said we need to get back and delve into storylines and characters there, that brings us to think about all the current speculations that you probably already heard of by now. You know that the war between the Alliance and the Horde never actually ended, Gilneas and Lordran are yet to be reclaimed, and the Alliance is ruled by Turellian, the leader of the Light Army. A big speculation is about either a Void or a Light invasion that might involve alternate Ren or Yrel, and a whole bunch of things happening to us after we're done with the things in the Shadowlands. Really, Azeroth with the current world situation is literally a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. However, on the other hand, they explicitly talked about both in the interview and the preview that Shadowlands is apparently a part of the first saga of the entirety of Warcraft, and that the groundwork for the next book of the Warcraft universe is currently being laid out. Could these actually be hints that we might be getting WoW 2. Maybe not WoW 2 as in a brand new game, but WoW 2 as in the entire rules of the universe being reset, or the world soul waking up and Azeroth drastically changing. It is hard to say because they did mention that there is a lot going back on Azeroth, implying that it won't reset and that we will continue with the old characters, but then they said that new book of World of Warcraft will happen. It is quite contradicting to say the least. What is certain though is that we will be going back to Azeroth in the next expansion and that we will be scaled down. Up to what extent we don't really know, but seeing that we are wandering in the actual engine of the universe itself right now and walking on waters of creation, I think anything even a notch below that will be a scaled down version. However, with the latest interview, it does seem like they plan to continue the cosmological storylines. Could this imply that the Light and the Void might be involved? Maybe we will fight these invasions, but we won't be getting into the core of these things. Despite them not saying anything about the connection between Zereth Mortis and Azeroth, I'm almost certain something is going on there. Our World Soul is without a doubt connected to this first one workshop, and we can only speculate how at this point. It could be the prototype, it could be the engine, it could be the first ones before the first ones that they buried there, therefore calling it a sepulcher, but it is certain that something big will happen in Zereth Mortis, and that this will without a doubt be connected to the core of our planet. Thank you for watching. Check out Are They Really Redeeming Sylvanas by clicking on the screen, and check out the Runs Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.